The third thing everyone needs to be aware of is that everyone needs to be aware of in regards to these arrest warrants is that after August 2023, when Israel started all this operation in Gaza Strip, Netanyahu placed emergency at that time, delayed the elections as well, and at that time he created a war cabinet to and then with consultation of all the members of war cabinet, he decided to attack Palestine. However, latest polling records show that in Israel, the public support which Netanyahu has is all-time low, and there are people from opposition calling for a new election because they don't agree with the policy of Netanyahu, which is to indiscriminately committing genocide there in Palestine. And that is why local opposition is quite a lot. And for example, the opposition leader right now in Israel named Yair Lapid, he was also member of the war cabinet, and he has decided to come out of that cabinet and now is again one of the fiercest opponents of Benjamin Netanyahu. Similarly, the arrest warrant is for two people. One is Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, and the second person is Yoav Gallant, who's the defense minister, who's overseeing the entire military operations there happening in Gaza Strip as well. And as the public criticism was mounting on these two individuals and calls were being made to remove them from office, that's the time where ICJ and Chief Prosecutor, specifically Chief Prosecutor, decided to issue arrest warrants. And that, in fact, has improved the credibility of Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel, where now he has a narrative of showing that, see, the good work which we are doing, now that even world is against us. And that is one of the ways in which he's trying to establish his own credibility. So this warrants issued by Karim Ahmad Khan Qadiani has not is not affecting or negatively adversely affecting the Israeli Prime Minister, but in fact assisting them in continuing the genocide which they have started in Palestine, unfortunately, since October 2023. Yes, Dr. Syed.
The first of all, you said that this marriage and is linked to this Mirza Khandan. Let me tell you, he is a son of a dermatologist. I think it's Hamid or something like that was his name. He was a Pathan and he had a vitiligo on his face. I haven't met him, but I have seen his photos. He came from Peshawar. He was a Pathan. And near Liverpool, I used to know the name of that town in England. It's near Liverpool, where he used to work in a hospital. And there was a nurse in the hospital who was an English nurse, quite a bit fatty nurse. Like, you know, Karim Khan, his mother, he looks the similar body habitus. So he married her. And this Karim and Imran and other children are with her. He died of prostatic cancer, and I heard that he died within months of diagnosis of prostatic cancer, his father. They used to visit Mirza Tahir. And this place called Islamabad, which is original name is Sheep Hatch, and it was a high school which was closed from that site and moved to another place, and they bought it. It was bought by Mirza Tahir in his time by the stolen money from the Qadianis. So that was about 26 or 27 acre or 20 acres, something like that. Karim Khan's mother was sitting there in the Mirza Tahir's office, and they were saying that what name shall we call it? So she said, oh, call it Islamabad. Mirza Tahir said, but that's the capital of Pakistan. He said, but the capital is called Islamabad because it's Muslim. So what problem you have? So Mirza Tahir got very happy. He said, perfect idea. So the name Islamabad was given to the Sheep Hatch in Telford. And now there used to be the Jalsa Salana in that place. Now it is another place which is bought by this donkey called Mirza Majboor. That's in Eldershot, this current place, and it's called Tahdis something. So that is the background of their links with the Mirza family. Then this guy, he was in his early 20s. That's what I heard. I saw him many times. He knows me actually, not maybe he has forgotten the name because I have even learned his name from his photos. But I have met him physically. I have chatted with him as well. And probably if he see me, he will know me that who I am. He was in 30s once I met him, and he was married to Muna. And Muna is one of the middle daughter of Mirza Tahir. Now, you see, the ordinary, this is something people need to understand. The ordinary Qadianis think, oh, daughter of a Khalifa must be a saint and, oh, must be very special. And if you get married to daughter of Khalifa, you are very special. Honestly speaking, they live in their faith honestly. Khalifa would marry his daughters, if they have daughters, to anybody who is decent, and they trust that family. So he somehow trusted he was obsessed with the doctors, Mirza Tahir, basically. If you are medically qualified, you are special for him, and Imran wasn't very studious. That's what I heard about him. But he was kind of a entertainment, fun boy, kind of dirty boy, I would call him. So this guy was a bit kind of a slightly serious guy, this Karim Khan, and he is very short-heighted. And don't think of him a very tall man. Actually, my first memory of Karim Khan is when I stood by him. His head was just above my shoulders, and I noted this, and I said, okay, that's fine. Muna is taller than him. By the way, I remember Muna being taller. So he liked him, or something happened because they had kind of a link. So he, or somehow, the message goes through private secretary. They don't say it. Mirza Tahir wouldn't say directly, would you like to marry my daughter? He would have asked right and left, or they would have. Some people say that his mother actually sent a message indirectly to Mirza Tahir that would you like to marry one of your daughters to my son. Normally, those people who knew Mirza family, they wouldn't marry the daughter of Mirza family. The Mirza family wants special people, but you can see if they are from within Mirza family, there will be people like Luqman. Luqman is an illiterate cowboy and is a playboy. He has been raping his own daughter for 36 years. All of us know that. So he married his first daughter, and he married Faiza to Luqman because Luqman was the son of Mirza Nasr. And he thought that if he will strengthen his link with the Mirza Nasr, he is more likely to be the next Khalifa. That's how they maneuvered with these things. It's not a Khudai Khalifa Mirzayo, you are wrong. So Muna and all his sisters, with regrets, I have got no intention of disreputing them. None of them was a gentle or a sharif girl, that's what I would say. That's the boyfriend. I said, you mean the boyfriend, unmarried but married. She said, oh, it's more than that. She has got multiple sexual relations, not one, with multiple boys. And her words were, she goes with everybody. So I said, no, that can't be true. She said, that's very true. And then actually she showed me the demonstration of that because she was studying in the same school as my cousin was studying. But my cousin was much older than me and she was much older than me. But I understood, I was in my late teens, so I thought, oh, that is very bad. Later on, one of the person whom I knew through some family things was the uh, son of Amir of Lahore, Hamid Nasrullah, who has died in 2018. He was married to one of the sister of Muna, and he divorced her the day after marriage. And actually, I was with somebody who was a close friend to him, and he knew me as well. So he said, "Why did you do that?" He said she was no good for anything. She was, I mean, zinakar girl. That's what they. She has been sexually abusing herself for a long time. That was the cause of divorce. Then Mirza Tahir was told about these things, and he gave a khutbah in distress because of divorces were coming one after another. And he said, "Oh, I don't know my daughters have been doing anything or wrong or not. It's not in my knowledge." I'm sure it was all in his knowledge. He was just bloody telling a lie. So the result of that is that Karim Khan was married to one of his daughters called Muna. All of his daughters are divorced. Reason for divorce is promiscuity and sexual misconduct and these kind of things and dishonesty and all those things. So if somebody among Qadianis want to marry one of the Khalifa's daughter, I can tell you one thing, be rich and have some education at least. Any Qadiani Mirzai would like to give you the hand of their daughter, particularly Mirza Khandan. But my advice to you is stay away from them. They are the dirtiest of all and incorrectable, if you want to know. None of their girls has the ability to correct herself or to stay as a wife. They are not wife material at all. None of them. Zero among them. So that's all about that. The second thing you were talking about, this investigation in which Karim Khan was involved, I can tell you Karim Khan worked for Holland and another country as well, and that was pre-planned thing, and some of his work has been for UNO as well. Qadiani Mirza family has got the links and they use their links. And particularly he was married to Muna, so they tried to place him on the places where he could jump directly to the higher positions. So that was manipulated. Think otherwise Karim Khan is not a brilliant barrister. As a matter of fact, before his appointment as a chief prosecutor, he was working in one of the London chambers. And I know somebody in the same chamber where he was working, and I asked him, was the Karim Khan a brilliant? He said the bloody was, his exact words, he was like a shit. That's what he said to me. He is not a good barrister. He is not a very outstanding barrister, unfortunately. But they have manipulated his way. Same way as they manipulated, they had one of their person appointed as a lord. There's a big story behind that as well. Then he helped Imran Khan to become the MP because he was the vice chair of Conservative Party for a little while. So that's how they do the manipulations. Good news for some of the Qadianis if they have never known these things. I'll tell you something. If you are a bit studious, you have been a little bit agitated and they need you and you have got a links with them. I don't know how can you create links. I did have a link with the Khalifas and actually the fact is Qadiani Khalifas like me uh, for some reasons they were very happy, but I knew they were not the kind of right people. But if you are Qadiani and you are close to the Khalifa and he get convinced you are an intelligent person, trust me, they will push you. They have pushed the people who don't have the abilities. The problem with the Qadianis are they have the link on places which they like to use. Like I can tell you in the field of science, this Professor Abdus Salam, because he had Nobel Prize, there is no doubt about it, although it was a kind of, he wasn't worthy of it. But because of his position, he tried to, and he did push many people across. And they will use all their contacts to do that. And don't assume that Qadiani has guaranteed contacts, and people are begging Qadianis for their help and queuing up to help them. That's not the situation, my dear, at all. Qadianis don't have any such position in the world. It is what they give and what they do. They get a price for that. It's a deal going on. If Pakistan will get rid of them, they will dry down very, very quickly, and they will have nothing to offer to anybody on international stage. So I think Barrister Saab has got a call. And the last thing he asked me, Barrister Saab, your last question was about that warrant which are issued by ICJ, isn't it right?
Yes, Dr. Saab.
There is one very important and very interesting fact. Qadianiyo nere nere aao zara. When this war was happening against Palestine, the country which helped Palestine to go to ICJ, International Court of Justice, that country was South Africa. That wasn't any Muslim country. Now, does South Africa side by the Qadiani? No. Actually, South Africa is one of the countries, Qadianiyo, where you went to the High Court of South Africa. That Pakistan has declared us kafir and non-Muslim. Please help us and declare us Muslims. Did you know about that, Barrister Sir?
Yes, I've heard Lahori Ahmadis went to South African court during apartheid.
No. It's after that. Qadianis went as well.
Okay, but I've heard of that court case.
Against the decision of National Assembly.
No, I'm not aware of that one. I'm aware of
No. They went to the South African court against the decision of National Assembly of Pakistan. They said, let's try. Who would notice? We went to South Africa. You know what the outcome was? South Africa declared them kafir. मिर्ज़ाइयो कितने हो तुसी ओ है कोई सुनने वाला मिर्ज़ाइयो आ जाओ. I'll tell you in the other languages. पंजाबी बोलने हैं, उर्दू बोल लो. So South Africa declared them a kafir, declared them kafir. Barrister Saab, that was the tragedy of the situation, wasn't it?
That's the saddest story I've heard since last year.
No. They went to South African court against the 1974 assembly decision. And the South Africa, who is not a Muslim themselves, declared them kafir. They said assembly has properly and accurately declared you out of the pale of Islam. So if they say you are kafir, you are a kafir. Hello, Mirzayo, where are you? Right? So now, if you remember this background, so South Africa is no friend of Mirzais or Qadianis, is there? They used all their power, whichever they could wield under their auspices. Nothing worked. They were declared kafir by a kafir. And there is another country as well. So this particular thing which is going on, if the Qadianis are doing, if the Qadiani says, I'm sure the Palestinian have to be very careful. They are trying to wash out the case which exists against the other party. And that's my suspicion. I'm not a party to it. I don't have any inside information. But there are not many people I can ask either. I'm not part of any government. But I will try to ask some people who have interest in these kind of matters. But don't think that it is the decision of Karim Khan, and he as a single man, and because Mirzais told him, oh, he is wrong, he should. No, this would have go to the ICJ judges. They will make the final decision whether they are willing to put a seal on it or not. The job of a prosecution barrister is to prosecute once the court decides there is a case against them. Isn't it right, Barrister sir?
Yes, that's correct, Dr. Syed.
Yeah, if the court decides there is no case, how can a prosecution barrister, and he is called chief prosecutor, it doesn't mean he is the chief judge or he is the chairman or chief executive of the ICJ. And this does not even mean that he has got a wielding power. And I can give you the example during the period of 1974, Zufrullah Chaudhry Murtad and Lanti, he tried his best for the ICJ to intervene into the Pakistan National Assembly proceeding. He did not succeed. And he tried all his links in every country, and most of the country told him off. He said, don't, they used the F word for him. He could do nothing. And similarly, you have seen that the American president, you told me that he has told me it's got no value for us. We don't recognize it, which means he is not only saying to the prosecution, he is actually saying to the ICJ that ICJ has got no jurisdiction over them, and I'm sure ICJ jurisdiction is very limited, and there is a reason for that, why it's so limited, and it's not Mirzais, don't think. And even if suppose if it was ordered by the panel of judges or whoever is the authority in ICJ that a warrant should be issued, Karim Khan has got no authority to even stop it. He has to act on the order, isn't it, Barrister Saab? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so how can you believe the claim of Mirzais?
Dr. Sab, I'll quickly add something to it as well, staying on the topic of how faithful or loyal are the Qadianis with the Palestinian cause. In that particular regard, few years. Yes, Dr. Sab.
They are none, but I want to hear your opinion as well. I know for a fact that they are against Palestinians, bitterly against them.
Exactly.
And I'll give you an example. You know, the people ask me, you see, the Mirzais have got no stomach except to come and try to abuse me. And I've told them that anybody who has misbehaved with me, God will punish him. That is a 110% thing. So these Qadiani people, they make up all stories. They have got, they are not the friends. And Ziaul Haq, you know, who was one of the martial administrator and the president later of Pakistan by force. Do you know he was Qadiani? Did you know that fact, Barrister Saab?
I honestly didn't.
Oh, he was Qadiani. We have got Al-Fazl Akhbar. We have got other documents. In 1941, he did a bath on the hands of Mirza Mahmud. And his father, Akbar Ali, was Qadiani as well. Their names are published in the newspaper. If you want to have a look of those documents, you can type General Ziaul Haq, Ahmadiyya, and which is Ahmadiyya Fact Check blog of Bashir Saab. He has put all those documents there, right? And you can see. And I always wondered that how dare one Pakistani brigadier kill thousands of Palestinians on the orders of Shah Hassan of Jordan. You know, he killed nearly 50,000 Palestinians. And now I always knew, my family knew that General Ziaul Haq was made chief of the staff on the recommendation of Mirza Nasser, and I was very surprised. I thought there's something more to it than the eye meets. And when we looked at this evidence that he is a Mirzai, he was a Mirzai, he never abandoned Mirzaiyat, he actually hid the fact that he was a Mirzai and his whole family was Mirzai. That's why they didn't pick up. He made the Muslim League Zia group as well. It never picked up because the people said that they will expose you, and that's why one of his relation, I think his son Ejaz, he was once elected, and when people said he's a Mirzai, your father was a Mirzai, he said, but I'm not a Mirzai. That's fine. But if you look at the background of that, Ziaul Haq actually was a Mirzai, and he killed so many Palestinians. And people ask question why he is the only one who made the regulations, the second amendment against them. He went against them because Professor Abdul Salam Murtad sold the secrets of Pakistan atomic power to the countries outside Pakistan. Particularly, he gave it all to America and Europe. He was a schizophrenic like Mirza, but less so. So he got very upset on that particular point, and it screwed the Mirzais. Like, I think you can take his example. He said, okay, I'm not Mirzai anymore. And he then, you will know that Ziaul Haq actually was very close to Dr. Israrul Haq because he wanted to know about the Mirzaiyat and all those things. And then he got convinced the Mirzaiyat is a fraud. So he made the second amendment. He said, I'll fix you. I'm sure if the S.A. Chaudhary is given the same chance, he'll do like a Ziaul Haq. So I thought it'll be a bit of interest for you that our country has the most unlucky country that has been in the clutches of Qadianiyat for a long time.
Just quite unfortunate to see that, Dr. Sahib, and just very unfortunate for all of us. I'll quickly add one thing remaining on the topic of Israel's treachery with Muslim Ummah as well. Few years ago, when Donald Trump was the president of United States, the world and United Nations together recognized Jerusalem as a disputed territory between Israel and Palestine. During that time, uh, United States decided, and Donald Trump administration decided to recognize Jerusalem as part of Israel, and not as a status of a disputed territory between these two countries, which is an established phenomenon by the entire world, according to the United Nations as well. And in that regards, United States opened its embassy in Jerusalem and moved it from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. In that, when the inauguration ceremony of that embassy happened, officials and President of United States went to Israel to inaugurate that a new embassy building in Jerusalem, something which was quite symbolic at that time to represent Muslims and to spearhead the Muslims allegedly. Sharif Odeh, the head of Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Israel, was leading the mission, and he was present over there to welcome and inaugurate the embassy in Jerusalem. Again, a sign of treachery against Muslim Ummah of Ahmadiyya community, Dr. Sahib, and that's just one of many other reasons which proves that Ahmadis and Qadianis, they have absolutely nothing to do with Muslims.
And, I'll tell you one thing about Qadianis, and it's being insider of the Qadianis, I'm telling you this thing. I know a lot about Qadianis. Qadiani's basic agenda was and is to finish Pakistan off. Proof is they gave Gurdaspur to the India because they were hoping to go back and bring pulling down the Pakistan and its existence. There is no doubt about it. Qadiani Khalifa, I asked him a question. I said to him that why don't you live according to the regulation in Pakistan and Pakistan accept your minority status because it's the decision of the government of Pakistan and all the Muslims country. So he said, the reason he explained, he said, no, we are the true Muslims and we will not stop until they finish or they accept me as their Khalifa. He said there is only one way of getting a peace among Muslims and among Qadianis. That is particularly Qadianis, and I have known some of the emirs of Lahori Jamat as well. Known doesn't mean that they were my friends. I mean, I've just known them, like you know some people and they know you. And their view is not this. This is the Qadiani group who actually their Khilafat is the against the last will of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. They have got nothing to Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. They are kind of petty criminals, you know, who do not have a power, who never had a power, but they are doing the fraudulent things. We are 22 million, 220 million. They are not even 1 million. They are not even 500,000 in the world. But we are 22 million. Mirza Qadiani was the same, doing the same fraud. So they are the petty criminal people. They don't have, and they are against the existence of Pakistan, and no one should doubt that. Secondly, Islam forbids the people who are against the principles of Islam, particularly like Qadianis, to be given commission or any position in their armed forces. That is one of the biggest mistakes Pakistan has done, and it wasn't in the in the hands of Pakistani authorities, because the authorities were mainly controlled by Qadianis most of the time. It's less so during the recent years, but still they have got a very stranglehold on Pakistan, and we are just waiting for any ruler who will come to Pakistan and will not be the stooge of Qadianis. They are not stooge in a way you think, but the Qadianis have got their ways and means to dictate their terms and conditions to them, particularly by pulling the strings, like Bajwa installed 500 plus people on key posts. So these are the things which are creating difficulties there. So the Qadianis will do anything against Muslim, Islam and Islamic countries. I think the barrister Saab has got the phone call, so when he comes.
Dr. Saab, what you're saying, that's certainly true, and they're traitors for entire Ummah. From Indonesia to Morocco, there isn't any single Muslim country, I think, which is spared from the Ahmadiyya cult, where they live, and they don't stop acting as a leech on that particular country. In that regard, I recently came across one of the reports, one of the parliamentary proceedings here in the United Kingdom, which took place, I think, in March. I haven't gone through it completely, where one of the Ahmadi member of parliament, they had raised some issues about treatment of Ahmadis in Pakistan and their persecution and what United Kingdom needs to do about it. And this,
what's the name of that member?
if you could give me a second, I'll look that up as well.
Yeah, because Imran Khan is not a member anymore. He was the only Qadiani member. If there is another one, I'm not aware of it.
Just give me 1 second. The hearing or the motion was presented, I think, in March. So just 2 months ago, that's when this meeting also happened. And just give me 1 second, Dr. Syed. It says the Westminster Hall debate on treatment of Ahmadi Muslims in Pakistan, led by Elliot Colburn, Member of Parliament. So he's not Ahmadi, but the topic was treatment of Ahmadis and persecution of them in Pakistan. But something which I found quite fascinating over there, that despite we hear Ahmadis making claims that there are millions and millions of Ahmadis all around the world. However, that report quite categorically states that up until 2021 or 22, the number of Ahmadis around the world, according to United Kingdom and United States, range between 500,000 to 600,000. And out of those 500 to 600,000, 200,000 are approximately in Pakistan, and remaining 300,000 or 400,000 live overseas, and that's the limit to their number, and that's it.
Again, say the number they said.
So, according statistically, it says that in Pakistan in 2017 there are 191,737 Ahmadis in Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah. And
191,000. And
yeah.
according to UK Home Office papers and United States State Department report on international religious freedom in Pakistan, the overall number of Ahmadi members of Ahmadiyya community in the world range between 500,000 to 600,000.
नहीं भाई बड़ा बैरिस्टर साहब तुसी ते कादियानियां नु नंगा ही कर देंदे हो they said they are 220 million and you are saying they are under 1 million, not even half million. You know, you mentioned one name, it's Elliot Colburn.
Yep.
I know that lady. I don't know, but I'm aware of that lady. She is a very young woman. Actually, Elliot said she is born in 92 or 93. I can't forget because there was some place and she was there. I remember her because she is a member of, there is an Imran who was the member of parliament and who was removed because of pedophile. He and Lord Tariq started Friends of Ahmadiyya. You know, there is an NGO called Friends of Qadiani or Ahmadiyya.
Yes, Dr. Saab.
She is a member of Elliot Colburn. Her full name is actually Elliot Hayden George Colburn. And she is in her early 30s. She doesn't know anything about Qadiani yet. So she is just doing like he was elected not far in the last general election, which was in 2019. She was elected in 2019. And she is, I think she is a member from Carshalton and Wellington, if I remember correctly. She is the member of parliament from Carshalton and Wellington. That's a safe Tory seat. I know lots of members of the parliament personally in UK. So she is a member of that NGO, so they keep on doing something, and that's why I ask all the people, and I have written to the members of parliament, and there are plenty of Muslim members of parliament. If you don't know, there is one from Yorkshire. That lady is a Muslim one. One is from. There are three women members of parliament from London, 2 or 3. One is Bengali, second one is Bengali as well. And they are members of parliament. And I know them very well. They wouldn't stand for Qadianis. I have talked to them about Qadianis few times. They wouldn't. This woman is very new. She is from a predominantly white area of Carshalton and Wellington. And she's a new member since last election, so she will learn slowly. But all of us should write to the parliamentary member a small 2-3 page summary of the fact, the fact I keep on telling people that Pakistanis are the one who are the victim of Qadianis. Qadianis play victim card in front of the other nations, which is untrue. And unfortunately, there is no Muslim body which there should be a body of Muslims who at least should write to the members of parliaments of the important countries that what the facts are. Because the example is, once they went to the higher court in South Africa, the Muslim represented themselves. They fought the case against Qadiani petition. And even the non-Muslim judges categorically said that the decision of Pakistan National Assembly in 1974 was one of the most credible decision, and they are kafir according to it. If they claim they are Muslims, they are not Muslim. Why don't Qadiani advertise their decision? And I have actually, I'm going to receive a copy of that decision I wrote to the South African court because they said they will give me a copy. They are just checking if it is allowed. because after certain time period, these decisions can be disclosed. And if it is a public decision, which I believe was a public decision, then it will be disclosed if it wasn't a closed hearing. And I don't think it was a closed hearing. So this particular thing is because that's how they operate. This is one of the way. And if we will write to these members, like you should write to, I will write to Eliot that she is mistaken about Qadianis. I know her. I'll write to her. I'll send her a long email. I've got I will do it today because I've standardized kind of a small essay with the summary I've written, and I've written the proof, and I've given the evidence from the PhDs which are done on their Jamat, and I've given quite credible evidence. And in total, that bundle has got 78 pages, but the written informative pages, outside references, are only 3 or 4 pages. So you should make one small bundle. That's what you call in legal language, isn't it? A bundle which you submit to the court, isn't it?
Yes, we call it a bundle.
Yeah, so make a bundle, small bundle, and send it to these ones, the people who, and she will read it because she has presented a petition in an NGO that they are being victimized. If we provide her the evidence, you know, she is no friend of Qadianis, I can tell you that. She is there just for a political gain. She is not the one who, she has got no inclination of the kind which people will perceive. So if, I'm sure I'll send it tonight to her. I have got her email address. Their email address are on the internet under the UK Parliament. And I can tell the people, if you want to write to your MP, you can tweet them so that they could identify your email. Mostly the MPs entertain the emails from their constituents. They won't entertain emails outside their constituency. But if either they are member of the NGOs or they are the ministerial cabinet members, what you call, then they have got another email as well, which you address them. You have to make very clear on that email. Once you write the covering email, you should make it very clear. I'm not your constituent, but you represented Qadianiyat and you said this thing in your representation there. I do not agree with you, and here are my reasons. Please read them and let me know if you need any further information. That's all. Very sweet and small email you write, and then you attach what you have already made. I have actually about to finish a book. It will be more than 500 pages in English. I have called it Life and Time of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani. It is actually a Tasab-e Qadiani. Hopefully it will be contribute something for the people who don't understand Urdu. And I will translate it in Urdu as well myself as well. So that's one way of neutralizing these things. Qadiani do these things systematically. I think we need to have a kind of a body who would systematically neutralize these things. That's why the Qadianis don't go to the court of law, because in the court of law, court will not entertain the case unless the other party is there and responded. So when the other party respond, then there's no chance Qadiani could win. And I am actually trying to get the copy of South Africa decision, a kafir declaring them kafir. That's very funny. I'm sure that the British Parliament will enjoy the read of that.
Certainly, Dr. Saab, and looking forward to your book as well. Been looking forward to that for quite a while. Hopefully, it will be released and published soon. So, the parliamentary proceedings which I was referring to was also spearheaded by one of the Ahmadi clerics, who is, I think, member of House of Lords, Lord Ahmad of Milton, and who has
His name is Barrister Saab. That's the one I was referring to. He's an idiot.
Yeah,
His
Lord.
name is Tariq Ahmed. He is a Qadiani. He is a born Qadiani.
Yes, Lord Tariq Ahmed of Wimbledon, and he was also
Lord
spearheading.
of Hamilton, Baron of Southfields. That's his full title.
Yep, that's correct. And I think he also has Office of Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Office. And in that regard, within that minutes, you can see that he states that he has even written letters to Pakistani Prime Minister and Foreign Minister asking them to give more rights and freedoms to Ahmadis to propagate and profess their religion. So that again shows that these Ahmadis, even though you might not see them actively doing something in Pakistan to propagate their faith, but covertly they are putting pressure on those in charge to let them loose, let them free to do whatever they want to do. And maybe that might be the backdrop of what reason which the decision which came by the Supreme Court as well, by Justice Qazi Faiz Isa, where there was some sort of relaxation given to Ahmadis to propagate their faith. I honestly don't know, but there seems to be a connection over here. While in the month of February and before that, there was Justice Sahib, the Foreign Minister and Prime Minister of Pakistan at that time, Tasadduq Hussain Jilani and Anwarul Haq Kakar, receiving letters from members of British Parliament that they need to provide more freedom and acceptance to Ahmadis in Pakistani society. And simultaneously, at that same time, decisions came from the Supreme Court of Pakistan as well, which apparently seemed to support the Qadianis in them being able to profess and propagate their religion more freely. I honestly, like, maybe there's a connection between that, maybe there isn't. I honestly don't know. But these are two things which happened in a very quick span of time, one after another.
Now, I think he loses on that count because I have written after Faiz Isa lots of email, around 600 emails I sent to almost all the members of National Assembly and the cabinet members. And as a result, there has been law in Punjab and it will be a federal law against what the Qadianis do, right? And it is, I have been informed that it is done in Punjab and soon it will be the federal law as well. So whenever the question of freedom comes, they have got a more freedom than even the citizens of Pakistan, who are the Muslim citizens of Pakistan. When the definition of Mirzai freedom is, let us finish the Pakistan, let us slaughter you all. That is the summary of freedom they are asking for. That we will desecrate your religion. We have a right to blasphemy day in and day out. And if you stop us, you are putting limits on our freedom. That's the freedom Qadiani means. Otherwise, if you call the freedom to live, nobody has ever said to Qadiani, and we have got the official record in Pakistan that Qadiani has killed their own people. They have killed them to gain the sympathy. They have killed 70 people in Lahore, and that was orchestrated by Qadianis, and there are many more examples. They have killed thousands and hundreds of thousands of Pakistanis and Kashmiri people. Nobody even asked them, but they are very kind of victim. They like to play victim. It is a true wolf in the skin of a sheep. They have been told by the government of Pakistan that they are minority. They refuse to respect the law of Pakistan. And if any country writes to Pakistan that the law should be removed, then they should go to the National Assembly. And I can tell you one thing, and I told that thing to Nawaz Sharif and company as well. I haven't got any close connection with them, but sometimes you get to see these kind of people. I said to them that the Islam is not in existence because of the people. it is being protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do what you do and you act against Islam to gain temporary benefit. Firstly, you will go to hell. Secondly, you will be destroyed in the world as well, because there is no forgiveness for the rights of the people. There are two kinds of rights. Rights of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that can be forgiven. But anyone who violates the rights of the people, then he is punished in this world. That's why all of them, you see, they are in power one day and in jail the other day. They are never happy people. They have got money, they have stolen lots of money, but there is no happiness, there is no satisfaction, there is nothing of that sort. And they die in misery, I can tell you that. Look at their faces, their cursed faces. So it is our duty, and I wrote to the members of the parliament, I said, and in Pakistan they have got a full freedom. Look, they are very small in number, and you just mentioned the number, which was less than nearly 500,000 in total, that was declared that that's their number in the entire world. And it speaks volumes about their truthfulness, and they are so big liars. They say we are 220 million. I'll write to Eliot tonight that, oh, you are mistaken about Qadiani number, and I'll put that as an evidence of the the members of parliament who are involved in these kind of discussions, they are very intrigued by these facts. So in Pakistan, Qadianis have got more freedom than ordinary Pakistanis. They refuse to accept the law of the Pakistan. And Pakistan is an Islamic Republic of Pakistan. It is not Qadiani Republic of Pakistan. In Islamic Republic of Pakistan, the law should be what the Sharia allows. Sharia says anybody who is build a masjid as a zarar to temple to hurt others, wa kufran wa tafriqan bain al-mu'min. That's the definition in Surah Ahzab. And Qadiani do all these three things. They hurt the Muslim Ummah as a whole, Pakistan in particular. They deny the basic concept of Islam blatantly. Blatantly, I am saying no one has that courage as the Qadiani Murtaddin has done. And they create partition, they create differences between the Muslims. The freeqam bain al-mu'min. There is a clear order in Quran and in Sunnat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Demolish it, burn it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَلَا تَقُمْ فِيهِ أَبَدًا. And that's what I'll write to Eliot. Do you want to change our law of Islam in an Islamic country? And I will tell her that why don't you tell the government of Pakistan, don't be afraid. If you are Islamic Republic of Pakistan, follow your Islamic law. And give them the freedom which the Islam gives and Islamic Republic is supposed to give. They've got all the freedoms. And the other thing you said about 191,700 something number in Pakistan, that is almost, the Nadra has got record of 180,000. That out of them, more than 100,000 are not in Pakistan, but hold the Nadra card. Right? So actual existing number in Pakistan is less than 60,000. And this number declared is because these people hold the Nadra card to enter the Pakistan, but they are no more the residents of Pakistan. So if you do that correction and subtract this gone number from the internet, there are hardly 300,000. I've seen their Tajneed computer. It's full of dead people, full of people who have got nothing to do with their Jamat. The fact of the matter is, in Qadiani Jamat, the active contributor of Chanda Lazmi, which is a 6.25%, are less than 20,000 all over the world. There are 30,000 people who occasionally pay them something, not regularly. And rest of the people pay nothing, but they have written their name. And I particularly saw, S.A. Chaudhary Saab, your name is on their Tajneed still. A.K. Sheikh Saab, your name I have seen myself in the Tajneed. It's not written that you have left the Jamaat. But Saab, your name is on the Tajneed, you are still Qadiani for them. That's the situation. Oh, they are a joke, honestly speaking.
Jazakallah, Dr. Saab. I think you shed light on some very important topics today. I'll have to take a leave now. Thank you so
I'm
much.
gonna stop this broad because this was in English and mostly it's more popular. I think your English broad, once you do, the people relate to. There's somebody is coming. Barrister Savi might have a question for you.
Sure, Dr. Saab. I'm more happy to hear, but then I'll have to take a leave.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go home as well. I was just sitting somewhere today. So I don't know what happened to that man. Maybe I'm not able to. Oh, yes, accept. Yeah. You can talk to this gentleman.
Assalamu alaikum, Ansar. Hope you're doing well, sir.
I am good. لیکن میں بات اردو میں کروں گا.
ہاں ضرور
کر سکتا ہوں.
جی کریں.
صرف یہی پوچھنا ہے, اس پہ بحث تو نہیں کرنی کہ حضرت عیسیٰ کے علاوہ کوئی کسی اور شخص کا رفع جسمانی ثابت ہے کہ نہیں.
انصار صاحب, آپ پہلے اپنا تعارف کروا سکتے ہیں؟ آپ مسلمان ہیں, احمدی ہیں, آپ کا کس کمیونٹی سے تعلق ہے؟
احمدیہ.
چلیں آگے.
کمیونٹیز.
ٹھیک ہو گیا, جزاک اللہ. جی ڈاکٹر صاحب, اگر آپ اس کا جواب دینا چاہیں.
ہاں میں اس کا جواب دوں گا. میں نے تو بہت ساری باتیں بتائی ہیں اور بہت سارے لوگوں کا رفع ثابت ہے. میں آپ کو ایک دو, آپ چونکہ آپ کا تعلق خاص جماعت سے ہے تو آپ تو وہ والا جو, اگر میں آپ کو کوئی ایسا ریفرنس دوں جو آپ کی کتابوں سے ہو تو آپ مان لیں گے اس کو؟
جی
ہاں سن لیں. پھر میں آپ کو, آپ اس کو لکھ لیں اور کنفرم بھی کر لیں. یہ ہے جی روحانی خزائن کی جلد 8 ہے, صفحہ نمبر 69 ہے, 68 اور 69, اور کتاب کا نام ہے نور الحق الحصۃ الاولی. نور الحق پہلا حصہ, مطلب عربی میں لکھا ہوا ہے نور الحق الحصۃ الاولی. یہ اردو میں اور عربی دو زبانوں میں یہ تحریر ہے, میں دونوں میں پڑھ دیتا ہوں. لکھا ہوا ہے کہ ہادہ ہوا موسیٰ فتلہ الذی اشار اللہ فی کتابہ الی حیاتہ وفرض علینا ان نؤمن بانہ حی فی السماء ولم یمت ولیس من المیتین. اور میں آپ کو تو پتہ لگ گیا ہوگا, یہ مرزا غلام قادیانی جو ہے ان کی لکھی تحریر ہے, ترجمہ بھی انہی کا ہے. اور یہ وہی موسیٰ مرد خدا ہے جس کی نسبت قرآن میں اشارہ ہے.
تھوڑی سی بات ٹوکو, تھوڑا سا بات.
انصار صاحب پہلے ان کو گفتگو کرنے دیں, پھر آپ
ابھی کر لیں گے.
ایک سیکنڈ انصار صاحب, نہیں وہ بات
ذرا ہولڈ کیجیے گا انصار صاحب,
پھر آپ کریں بات.
جی کریں.
باقی
بریکوں پر پیر رکھیں.
کریں بات.
ہاں ایک منٹ, نہیں انہیں انصار صاحب کو کرنے دے بات, ترجمہ پورا سن لینا.
وہ تو چھوٹی سی بات تھی, وہ تو چلے.
پہلے انصار صاحب بات مکمل ہو جائے تو.
آپ کا مکمل ہو گیا ترجمہ؟
نہیں ترجمہ میں کر رہا ہوں
تو پھر کریں.
ہاں
کریں.
یہ وہی موسیٰ مرد خدا ہے جس کی نسبت قرآن میں اشارہ ہے کہ وہ زندہ ہے, اور ہم پر فرض ہو گیا ہے کہ ہم اس بات پر ایمان لاویں کہ وہ زندہ آسمان میں موجود ہے. وَلَمْ يَمُتْ, اور موت نہیں آئی. وَلَيْسَ مِنَ الْمَيَّتَيْنِ, اور مردوں میں سے نہیں ہے. ہاں جی اب ہو گیا.
وہ تو ایک چھوٹا سا کرنا تھا, لیکن کیونکہ میں تو لفظ پہ پورے ایک لفظ پہ غور کرتا ہوں. آپ اگر یہ کہیں گے کہ مرزا غلام قادیانی, تو اس سے بعد تبلیغ کرتے ہوئے بندے کا نام لینا برا لگتا ہے؟
نہیں میں نے تو یہی کہا مرزا غلام قادیانی. جی
غلام احمد ان کا نام ہے.
ہاں آپ غلام احمد قادیانی کہہ دیتے ہیں, کوئی حرج نہیں. ہاں جی غلام احمد قادیانی.
اصل میں ان کا نام دسوندی ہے اپنا ناصر صاحب. مرزا قادیانی کا نام دسوندی ہے. That's what you can look it over there. in his own book.
कियानी साहब चुप कर जाओ।
You need a
आगे मैं
reference for
अपनी
that,
औकात पे आ
Mirza
गया,
साहब?
अपनी औकात पे आ गया।
हाँ जी, कादियानी
मैं आ गया
सॉरी,
कादियान से आ गया मैं लाहौर।
नहीं
26 मई है आज मेरे
कियानी
प्यारे।
साहब, कियानी साहब,
हैप्पी 30 टू यू बडी।
दरख्वास्त है ना आपसे कियानी साहब, एक मिनट आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि उन्हें बात कर
बस
लेने
इसकी
दें।
अकल देख रहे, खैर आप
नहीं नहीं,
चलो
कियानी
तो
साहब माशाल्लाह बड़े
जो इंसान
अच्छे
जो है
आदमी
ना
हैं।
अच्छे बात करें, अच्छे होंगे,
हाँ।
मैं भी उसको बुरा नहीं कहूँगा, बस यही कहा कि